Hello, everybody. I'm Corbin Hostler. This is Mining Modern, and it's a Sultai deck. So the last couple of weeks we've done some pretty fun ones. We've had some nice combo decks, some crazy sort of attack with the Nimracool deck, lots of really cheaty ways to play Magic. So I thought we'd switch it up a little bit this week and play a control deck. And this is sort of one under the radar, hasn't really seen a lot of traction yet. The deck actually started off around a different concept before sort of becoming this, but it originally began as a Grimflayer Temporal Mastery deck. The idea being if you connect with Grimflayer, you can look at the top cards of your library and set up miracles, which is sweet. But I played a lot of games with it and it just wasn't working out, so I decided to go ahead and change it up and just let's try to play a control deck. We don't do that on here very often. So with Fatal Push, this basically gives a lightning bolt essentially to other colors that other color combinations that didn't have it. So that's what we're going to give a shot here. And I'm not convinced this list is optimal or anything like that, but I think it's worth trying because when you're playing Grixis, you get a Snapcaster Bolt, right? When you're playing Jund, you just could have all the Thoughtseizes and the bolts. Well, now let's try Fatal Push instead of Bolt and see if Snapcaster Fatal Push is worth anything. So this is the deck. It's actually very similar to a Jund list, but we have 4 Tarmogoyf, 4 Grimflayers, sort of your beatdown. The removal suite, Abrupt Decays, Maelstrom Pulse, Murderous Cuts, and Liliana's to an extent as well. The blue cards you get to play, which Jund would kill for essentially, right? Serum Visions, Remand, Snapcaster Mage, all very very good. The Fatal Push is of course gonna be great at dealing with the small creatures. Possible we want a third one in here over maybe the Thought Scour or the Bobble, but I'm sort of you also have to try to excuse me, try to set up your Grimflayers. So we'll see as we play how we feel about that. But so I mean, this is the deck essentially. You got proactive counter spells and discard spells to deal with their hand. You have the typical beatdown of Grimflayer Tarmogoyfs. You have the control aspect of your Lilianas, and then you have a bunch of removal, as you might expect, while also going to play Snapcaster Mage, which is really good. So I think I like this deck quite a bit. We'll see how it performs. Moving on to the sideboard over here, pretty much what you'd expect. Nothing too crazy here. Options for additional removal, additional counter spells. We don't have a ton of sweepers in these colors, which is the only problem. Maybe this deck wants Damnation. I'm not sure. Of course, there's only so much room you can have in the sideboard. But what I do think I want is another Fatal Push. So let's go ahead and get another Fatal Push in here, just so we have another answer to the really fast aggro decks. Do we want a Damnation over a Kalitas? Possibly. I don't know. It's hard to say exactly what you want the sideboard to look like. Obviously, you should tailor it to your own metagame. But before we play here, I think I don't mind getting a Damnation in here for the Kalitas. I think we want a sweeper here. All right, so this is the deck. It's just a Sultai deck, and it's a good Sultai deck, and it's really interesting, I think, to see, especially after we saw Death Shadow do well last weekend at the GP, whether this sort of control deck can work on it. So we're going to give it a go. Also, before you leave, in case anyone thought it wasn't coming, Merfolk, top 2 of the GP. So for anybody who doesn't know, I'm a huge Merfolk fan. I've known Nikachu, the Jonathan, who got second at the Grand Prix for a while through the online circles as a fellow Merfolk lover, and he did it. Make Merfolk great again. Best deck in Modern. At least maybe second best deck last weekend. But I will take it. So that was great. But all right, so now let's give Sultai a shot and see how we do here.